Good. I was going to say good afternoon, good evening. This is late for me, everybody. This is 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 7:10 Central. But thank you. I actually had to come live because the way that traders are releasing episodes, I did not want to get too far behind. As we all know, welcome in. Those of you that may be new may not know, I love traders. One of the first reviews I started to do as content was for Traitors US Season 3. I've seen all the seasons, I love them, but Season 4 is going to be very interesting. I like the way Peacock drops it, but it is a lot of work. What they end up doing is they drop 3 episodes at once. So I had to dodge and weave, trying not to see any spoilers. So I finally finished watching all of the episodes today. Excuse me for what's going on here in StreamYard. Please come in, click the like button. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your subscription. If you are not subscribed, after this review, recap, discussion, if you appreciate the channel, appreciate being able to chat live about one of the shows that you watch and like, please feel free to do so. But we have the 3 episodes they dropped already, January 8th. So I'll be reviewing, recapping, discussing those, giving my opinion on the players, giving my pick. I do have a pick. And then January 15th, we are going to have Peacock will drop episodes 4 and 5. So I'll review, discuss, we'll chat about that. And then after that, they'll do a series of 1 episode a week, which is good because it gives everybody a chance to get caught up. So I do like that. I had chat for a minute. Now I cannot see where it is at, but I should be able to get that back. But I'll just go ahead and start. Oh, here are the comments. I will go ahead and start. And then as people come in, I'd appreciate it if they would click the like button. And again, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining Sandra Peace Gen Extra. And now, again, we are here for the review. I'm sorry, let me go ahead and put that on silent. I want to make sure we can see everything. All right, so I am live. All right, that looks pretty good. Thank you. I am live. There we are. And again, we will start this review this week. We ended up with 23 players, everybody. 23 players. So what Peacock does is Peacock actually chooses from, we call them Bravo celebrities, but it's just the Bravo universe. So you'll get housewives, people from Top Chef. We have gamers, which will be from shows like Survivor, Big Brother, The Challenge. We have sports adjacent people, which this season it is Donna Kelsey, who is the mother of Travis and Jason Kelsey in the NFL. Batch Nation, like Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelors, Bachelorettes. We've had all type of people in the past. So out of the housewives, we have Candace. Candace is formerly of Real Housewives of Potomac. She left on her own accord, but I think her things that were going on with her there, I don't believe I would have stayed. So Candace is no longer with Real Housewives of Potomac for now, but she's still valued within the NBC universe because we have her over here on Traitors. Anybody that you see on Traitors, they still have a relationship no matter how they left whatever show they were on. So we have Alan Cummings as the host. The first housewife I named was Candace. Candace is one of the hot properties at Bravo, I believe, because even though she's been gone for a few seasons, she's still talked about quite a lot. Caroline was of Ladies of London, also on Real Housewives of Dubai. So Caroline is on this show, but Real Housewives of Dubai has been either canceled or paused indefinitely. That's something that Bravo does. We don't know what will happen with that. Portia of Real Housewives of Atlanta, she is not an OG. She's not season 1, but she is considered a veteran. She's a hot property, a hot commodity within these type shows, a Bravo celebrity. So Portia Williams, or she used to say Portia Guabadia, but her divorce is final. I believe she's Portia Williams again. I hope so. We have Lisa Rinna. This is another person who did not leave. She didn't leave on a great note. Lisa Rinna left Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She challenged Andy at a reunion and said, "Put me on pause." And she hasn't been back. So they put her on pause. I think this is a soft launch, especially watching her on these 3 episodes. I don't care for Lisa Rinna, but I didn't dislike her in her role as traitor. I didn't dislike her over here. So I think it's a soft launch, everybody. We'll see. Dorinda. Dorinda was the first housewife out. She's Real Housewives of New York. First one out last season, season 3 of Traitors. They didn't like that. So they gave us Dorinda again. She's staying longer this time. That's not a spoiler, I'll just tell you, because we'll discuss episode 1, 2, and 3, but I'll try to stay in order, and then we'll talk about all of it. So Dorinda's the first one, I believe, to have back-to-back. So they kicked her out, and she's back. We have the Big Brother gamers. Ian is the multiple winner. Tiffany's from the infamous cookout season where we had a group stick together. I still love her for that. Big D has a podcast. Tiffany was over there, and I think Hannah was with them. I didn't get to finish it. They were doing a review of Traitors, but Tiffany is tight-lipped. She said that non-disclosure is something serious, and so she's not disclosing a lot. Colton is from Bachelor Nation. He was the Bachelor. There was the girl that went viral for the Danish deception earlier in the year. She was on that show. I saw some of the clips. She was just as cringe on that show. Colton came out and he said that he is gay after being cast, being paid, and going through a bunch of women looking for his true love. So Colton is living in his truth now. Congratulations, Colton. We have Monet Exchange, who is from RuPaul's Drag Race. This has been a trend where they will have someone from RuPaul's Drag Race. I can't remember season 1, but I remember the first season I really became familiar with Traitors US. They had Peppermint, and I didn't like the way it was Trishelle and CT targeted Peppermint and got Peppermint out of it. I didn't like that. The way that they did it, it was really cringe. Trishelle is very questionable, but she is a gamer. She's been on the challenge. She started out Real World, so she's more reality TV type, fun stuff, love stuff, but now she's a big-time gamer. I think they would bring Trishelle back. I think she's disliked enough, but kind of a popular villain that she would come back. So this year, Monet Exchange is RuPaul's Drag Race representative. Last season, it was Bob the Drag Queen. He's a hot property at Universal, NBC University, Peacock, Bravo. He is doing a podcast with Rob from Survivor, Boston Rob. Maura Higgins is from Love Island, UK. I'm not familiar with her. She is familiar with Rob Rush. Rob is from Love Island as well. Donna Kelsey is the celebrity adjacent relative. Last year it was not Zac Efron, whichever the brother is, maybe Dylan, I'm not sure. Travis and Jason's mother, Donna Kelsey. We have from the sports world, ice skaters, Tara Lipinski, Johnny Weir. They are peas in a pod. They're trying to convince us that they're not good friends. Okay, those of us who've been familiar with the two of these for literally 2 decades, they've been friends for 20 years, but they think nobody knows this. So I guess they don't watch this show. We have actors. Ron Funches, I'm not familiar with him. He's billed alternatively as an actor and as a comedian. So I'm not familiar with him, but he is here. Eric Nam is adorable. He's the K-pop world. Michael Rappaport, I cannot stand, but he bills himself to be a Super Housewives fan. I don't think so. I don't like him. I don't like the aura I get from him. Big mouth. He's always a Bill, I'm a New Yorker, but I'm a New Yorker too, and all New Yorkers don't act like that. So I don't care for Michael. But he has a very long history of being an actor. He has directed things. He's been around a long time. His best work that I saw him in was a show called Atypical, which was a really cute show about his teen son was on the spectrum, but he was pushed into traditional classes. And it's really worth a watch. But Michael Rappaport, he's been problematic for a long time. He started out in Zebrahead, which is an independent film. Somebody gave him a certain type of pass, and he's been using the stuffing out of it for a long time. I don't like that, y'all. I have talked about him more than I care to. I think I'll be talking about him a lot more because he is a big mouth who's very central. I wish Kenya Moore got her this season so that she could check him. If I find that clip, I'm going to show a clip of Kenya putting him in his place. Kristen is a Top Chef winner. She also took over as host from Padma. So she is a very hot property. I have a really cute picture of her I'll share. Mark Ballas is from Dancing with the Stars. Stephen Coletti is from Laguna Beach and One Tree Hill. Natalie is a winner of Survivor. Another gamer is Rob C. He's a runner-up. He has a very well-respected podcast on YouTube, and he deeps dive into all of these reality shows. I like Rob C a lot. Yamil or Yam Yam, he's a winner of Survivor. I like Yam Yam too. He's a trip. I think I went through everybody, but y'all, that is 23 people. Steve Coletti, did I name him? He was kind of under the radar. Everybody else, there's a lot of big personalities this season, so this I love a lot. So we get Alan Cumming. Hello, Alan Cumming. I love him. He says the traders will manipulate, mislead, and I'll say red rum because I don't know if YouTube knows that it's just a game if I said the actual word. Spell red rum backwards really quickly and you'll get it. Manipulate, mislead, and red rum. So he says if any traders are left at the end, they take it all. Hi, Lorcy Jones. Welcome in. Are you watching Traitors this season? I had to get in here because I was kind of late watching it. I finally watched all 3 episodes, but there's so many spoilers out. I said, I better go ahead and do my live. So I'm behind because I was on vacation last week. I went on a cruise, which I really needed. It was wonderful. But now I'm back reviewing Traitors. Okay, now I can get into these notes as it stands here. And then we get more people in, or if you've seen it, we can talk about it. I'm going episode by episode. So if you haven't watched all of it, hopefully there'll not be spoilers because I will try to tell you in advance. Yes, okay, so good, Lorcy, this is great. So the first thing they did, they come into the castle. This is in Scotland. That is beautiful country out there. It really is. They are in these SUVs. Everything is top secret. I love the way that they do that. And this time they're arriving at night, which to me is a little bit spooky. I find their backdrop and all of that spooky anyway. So in the first car, we've got Donna. Donna Kelsey is the mother to Travis and Jason. That shouldn't be this lady's claim to fame, but it is. They gave her another nickname that got on my nerves. She is not America's mom. She may be some of their mama, but she is not mine. She is Jason and Travis's mom. Rob C is in the car with her, or was it the other Rob? Anyway, they're arriving at night. I'll just do standouts to me, and then I'll lightly mention anyone else as they factor in. Johnny Weir, the figure skater, he kind of dresses like Alan Cummings. He's very flamboyant. He always was, though. Johnny Weir always was. And he wishes everybody in the SUV with him good luck. Kristen is the top chef. She says everything is awesome. Monet Exchange says if they were outside that her wig would catch on fire. You know, the backdrop and all of that they do. And Alan Cummings is so dramatic. So Lisa Rinna says she's bringing all of her assets, all of her acting skills to be the greatest traitor ever. Now, we know Lisa Rinna was part of what she called the Fox Force 5, or maybe someone else named them that. I don't know, but I think a group of mean older ladies or middle-aged ladies who like to ice people out and freeze people out, she may have found her spot. Being a traitor might fit for her because, again, I wasn't annoyed with Lisa Rinna and how she conducted herself, at least for the first 3 episodes. She did do something in episode 2 to get on my nerves, and we'll talk about that. So Rob C is telling Tiffany Mitchell, he admires her. They all know of each other as far as the gamers. The funny thing is, a lot of people from the different genres don't know who each other are. Maura made a really big point. She's the young lady. I've never seen her a day in my life. She is from Love Island. I don't watch Love Island. I just know the pop culture stuff because it's talked about so much. I know who Nicolandria is, that sort of thing. But I don't watch Love Island. I don't know who Maura is, but she knows Rob R because they were on a season of it together. So Johnny is asking who this person is, who that person is. He doesn't know, or he claims not to know a lot of the people. Again, he and Tara Lipinski, she's a gold medalist. They're best friends, but he's going to act like they don't really know each other. So Michael Rappaport is telling Dorinda, you should be effing back. Y'all, Michael Rappaport came in getting on my nerves, and I think he's going to stay on my nerves. So just full disclosure, since it's just my opinion and it's for fun, I can be biased for or against certain ones of them, But if it's somebody you like or don't like, I read the chats. So, and I'll read a chat for your fave if I'm getting on them. Tiffany Mitchell is my pick. She's from the cookout, even though she gets on my nerves. I think the second or third episode. Third. She got an alliance that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. So I don't know. I have one good eye on Tiffany, but I really love the way she plays Survivor, the challenge. And I would love for her to win. The people I wanted out immediately, Donna Kelsey, because she's doing that America's Mom thing, poor little old lady, and Michael Rappaport because of his big foul mouth. I can't stand him. So Alan gives them all of the key to the game, telling them what it's going to be about. Dorinda says she cannot be red rummed on the first night again. I will see Dorinda. Everybody's looking around. And Alan said he's going to choose his first traitor. He's giving them a box and they pull out a card. So one of them has a traitor card in it. We're going to find out a twist later. They're 23 chess. They have never had a traitor selected in plain sight. One thing I like so far about season 4 US, the first 3 episodes, they have a bunch of twists. So it changes up the game and makes it kind of fun. So you need a poker face to pick your card out of this box. So people are going to use different strategies. Candace gets to pick first. I love the way Candace is dressed. She's so cute. She just always looks like a little 1960s and 1970s Barbie doll that you just put your little different clothes on and your little pillbox hat. But that's Candace. So she says she is shaking like a faithful. Candace gets her card, and we don't really know what her reaction is. Excuse me, everyone. She gets a confessional, and she says that people think that the housewives are kind of ditzy. That is their reputation that they have. But she lets us know she has 2 degrees. If you watch Potomac, you already know that. Candace has 2 degrees, and she has White House experience. She's very smart. I think she's known to be quick-witted, quick with it. She can give shade, she can give sass, and she can really use her words. So they just love Donna Kelsey for some reason. I told y'all she's being sold as America's Mom. Jam Jam, it's spelled yam yam like yams, but they call him Jam Jam. He's the Survivor winner. He loves her. There's a comedian called Ron Funches. He got on my nerves. He does something that really got under my skin. I'm not familiar with him. He's a comedian or an actor. He says that people are hard to read, especially people he's never met before. So he's right about that, because I was trying to look in the faces of people as they get their card, but you don't have a way of knowing who the traitor is going to be. So everybody's excited. They're nervous. Alan's giving his jokes. Dorinda says she's ready to play and ready to stay. Let's hope so, Dorinda. Portia says it's my time to shine. Portia's got her pink on. She's excited. Everybody's smiling with her, including me. I get on Portia. Portia gets on my nerves at times, but I like this for her. I like seeing Portia on Traitor. Michael Rappaport is hyping up Portia. He says she would make a good traitor. She's a pro-ish talker. And he's just giving this little silly grin when he picks his card. I think he wants people to think that he was picked as a traitor for some reason, because he's just smiling that he got his card. So that was kind of corny. Colton from The Bachelor says he would love to be a traitor. It looked like mostly everybody that was picking something, they would say that they would love to be a traitor, because the show is The Traitors, and it's fixated on them. Candace says she has main character energy, so she'd like to be a traitor. Caroline Stanbury, that's the Real Housewives of Dubai. She is wishing that she would get to know Rob C. She's telling Johnny Weir, I hear he is a mastermind. He's a strategist. We need to get to know him so he can do the thinking for us. I don't know if that's a great strategy, because you don't know who a traitor is. So you're giving all your theories to people and you don't know if they're a traitor or not. So Alan says the die is cast. The first traitor is chosen. So they've given out these 23 cards. He said, who here can you trust? Everybody cheers as the game begins, and they go over to the castle. They're running in, looking. Portia's laughing. My fat A found the kitchen first. So everybody was laughing and kind of greeting each other. They check the wall where they have all the photos up. It must be exciting to kind of see it on TV, and then you get cast, and then you go there. So I really like how they begin. Eric says, I've forgotten all about the game. I'm just meeting everybody. Eric Nam is so cute, y'all. He's from the K-pop world. I think he's an actor too and a singer. So all the small groups start to get together. They kind of section off. They're talking to each other. The Big Brother people are talking. Yan Yan and Monet Exchange are they are fans of each other. Donna Kelsey is claiming she's a fan of everybody. I'm fangirling of everybody. So they discuss like who could be a traitor, who might not be a traitor. Obviously, the gamers they're looking, they're listening. I actually like the way the gamers play the game. So Michael is questioning Kristen and what is she looking for? Kristen claims she's just, she's watching everybody, but I like her personality. She's personable, but she's quiet. She's more laid back. She listens twice as much as she talks, but Kristen will get in the mix if she needs to. And Mara claims that the only person she knows is Rob. He's from her show. He's from Love Island. She says she does watch a lot of true crime, so she has a mind for solving serial killers and stuff like that. So I don't know. She said she never watched The Housewives. And Michael Rappaport says, shame on you. He fancies himself a Super Housewife fan. So Portia is joking. Oh, he's a traitor. He's a traitor. And then she tells Michael, I like you. Portia, I don't know. Y'all know Portia will lie with a big smile right in your face. I can't stand him, but she's claiming she likes him. So we didn't need Kenya here to shut him down. Candace says she feels like she could be a killer, though she is very sweet. And Kristen says, don't F with a chef because they might poison your food. And then she says, well, I would never do that. I would never do that. I like Kristen, so I don't know why she said that. I think Kristen probably could get somebody together if she needed to. She said the knives are always out. And Donna thinks that she can be treacherous. So we'll see where that goes. Alan finishes up the interviews. That's just little snippets of when he's sitting down. It's almost like a job interview. It's really funny. He's trying to decide, him probably with the help of production and whomever else, maybe casting. They decide whom they're going to make traitors. They have 3 or 4. Whom else is going to be a faithful? Because there'll be 19 or 20 more that are faithfuls. And again, if there are any traitors left at the end, the faithfuls don't get the money. The traitors get that money. So all of the advantages, really, to me, it goes to the traitors get to meet at night. They talk to each other. They got all these little twists and turns. But there are more faithfuls. They have more people to confide in, but they don't know who the traitors are. So there's an upside and downside to each one of them. So Alan finishes the interviews. He taps people on the shoulder to let them know Candace is named a traitor. This is still episode 1. She's named a traitor. She says, I feel like I just won Miss USA. So she's really happy. Lisa says, I'm an effing traitor. Hallelujah. So that's Lisa Rinna from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She got named a traitor. So that's a lot of screen time. This is a soft launch for Lisa Rinna for her possible return. I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm 2 episodes behind Beverly Hills. It's not that great. I'm just glad that we have Rachel's up. But that is just an aside. Next we have Rob R. from Love Island. So he is a good-looking guy. He's pretty smart. He's from Alabama. I like his accent. He said he's heard that he is hard to read from a lot of girls that he has known in his past that he's dated. So Alan instructs everybody to remove their blindfolds. The traitors are going to gather the first night. There's going to not be anyone sent home or any red rum that night. They're just doing kind of like a meet and greet. So Natalie is one of the survivor. She's a winner, I believe. She announces that she's talking to the faithful. Michael's doing a lot of talking, y'all. Michael's saying out of the 5 housewives and 5 gamers, one of the subset has to be traitors. Tiffany criticizes the strategy. She said that brings attention to yourself, trying to name people and say who somebody is. And I agree with Tiffany on that. Candace drops Lisa's name. I thought this was a misstep by Candace. She said Lisa Rinna could be a traitor because she doesn't know. The traitors know that they are a traitor. Alan tapped them on the shoulder, but they don't know who the other traitors are yet. So that is not smart to be naming somebody else and you don't know. So we have, Rappaport is talking really loud. He's telling Rob from Love Island that it's not going to be a good mix. He's good looking and he's smart, and that is going to be a recipe for trouble. And Rob R is in a confessional. He says, people always underestimate me, I guess because of his looks. They might think he's a dumb jock or something. But just watching him these first 3 episodes, he's an excellent trader. And I think people do underestimate him because he is very good looking. He's kind of like the Sam Asghari, Britney Spears' ex-husband from last season, where people, they would just show him in the shower, scrubbing down. But Sam was really smart. Sam had a lot of strategy. So Tiffany and Roxy are discussing kind of like a gamer alliance. They both are into it. They're interested. We get Natalie and Yan Yan discussing kind of the same thing. Lisa is in all leopard skin. Lisa Rinna is bopping through that place with her little leopard skin fedora and suit. It's kind of too much, but Lisa is too much. So it's a little bit funny. They take the Traitors pledge. They commit to lying, cheating, betraying, and keeping the identity of other traitors. Y'all, I had a problem with this season 2 because I tell you, when Phaedra kind of superseded Dan as the head traitor in charge, I think when Dan got voted out, I feel like he told someone Phaedra's identity. I really do, because Phaedra was voted out either that next week or shortly after, and she was not on anyone's radar. So it's funny that now Alan makes that a part of the pledge. But you're committed to lying, cheating, and betraying, but keeping the identity of other traitors. So I am glad they do that, because no one can convince me that Dan from Big Brother did not out Phaedra. And they say, well, no, there's cameras all up. I don't believe it. I think he outed Phaedra. So Candace and Lisa start, when they get into the turret, they have the hood on, the green hood. I have a picture of myself. That's me in the upper right-hand corner. I took a picture with those at BravoCon. That is the first thing they do when they take the hood off and they see each other. They're like, ah! They start pointing and yelling and laughing. Oh my gosh, Candace says, I don't think there's ever been 2 housewives as traitors. There's not. They say, oh my goodness, we're making history. And they are. Rob comes in. They start pointing at him, laughing, jumping up and down. They're all really excited to be traitors. So Rob said he's wishing that everybody has a level head. Don't stereotype them, Rob. I think they will have a level head. So they say that, let me see. I'm sorry, my notes got mixed up. Candace admits, she tells Lisa and Rob that she actually, while everybody was in little groups speculating, she says that she let it be known that she thought Lisa Rinna would make a good traitor. So they were like, we got to roll that back. We got to dial that back. So they don't know who. There is another. Alan comes in and they greet him. He greets them. He says that another twist is that in that box when they were giving out the traitor cards, there's another traitor. It's a secret traitor. The traitor, to me, had too much power. What the secret traitor does, they won't know who that person is. That person compiles a short list of 4 people, and that person gives them a short list. They have to select from that list the person that they're going to red rum or send home that night. So I think that's a little bit unfair. So they do agree to all of those loyalty oaths, and they said traitors for life. First game they have is a coffin. There's coffin floating, 23 coffin floating. Portia, Tara, Rob, they all take a ride out to the site of where they're going to play the game. Donna dreams of catching a traitor the first night. So out of all these coffins, 12 of them are going to include gold. They got to tow them to an empty grave. So everyone that's successful with that, they'll get $2,000 for each empty coffin. They can make up to $30,000 total for the challenge. So that's how they start to accumulate their money. By the end of this game, they're supposed to have up to $250,000. I don't think in any of the seasons they've really gone for a lot of the money. I know last year it was really low. It was something like $75,000. by the time they split it. So they had a twist I didn't love. The coffin had their name on it. Alan says, get used to having these surprises. So they divide into boats. They put the 3 athletic guys up front, which was Colton, Rob F., and Steven. And Portia said, our team is rowing like we got a freaking college scholarship. So everybody's still gung-ho. And it said, we are strong, we smart. She wearing this cute little black ski outfit. They're having a great time. So they are a red boat, green boat, white boat. Those are the teams. So they're spotting the coffins that have the money. When they bring it back to land, they actually have to put it into an empty grave. So there is a twist. If they put a gold coffin in the grave with a person's name on it, that person is then up for red rum to be sent home that night. So the empty graves are safe, but then they have no money. So Portia said, Alan is the devil. Portia, I don't know if Alan is the one that comes up with these games, but they are kind of sneaky and spooky and scary. But I do love it. I like it. A lot better than Survivor. I don't think I could last on Survivor. This is doable because you get to go back to the castle. There's food. You get to get warm, take your shower, have a nice bed. So Rob C., the Survivor gamer, he says they need to think about a strategy of how they're going to drop the money coffin. So I did agree with Rob C. on that. Ian is claiming, now Ian's a strategist too, supposedly, because he's one big brother, but he said the best thing to do is not take anything personal, but just drop the coffin into the nearest grave. I didn't think that made any sense. So at one point, one boat thought they were going to take another. They saw that there were money and another team had already rowed up on it. They thought they were going to pick it up. And Colton stood right up. He's really athletic. He used to be in the NFL. He stood right up, took the coffin out from them and put it in their boat. So Monet Exchange was like, he could do that the whole time? That was kind of hot. Monet Exchange is really funny. He threw me off a little bit more because he is, Bob the Drag Queen mostly stayed in drag, but you will see Monet Exchange just switch it up. And you'll be like, okay, who's this new guy? He's kind of cute. And it's Monet Exchange. And then you'll see her in drag, and then it's Monet Exchange. So I found that pretty funny through the first 3 episodes. Michael starts cursing up a storm. Y'all, they put a coffin on his grave. I take it personal. F this, F that, F bomb, F bomb. They were targeting other people too. And then Michael, it was really funny. At one point, he was like, well, let's put it in a housewife's grave. And Portia heard him say that. I mean, Candace heard him say that. He was talking about Portia. So Candace says, no, we're not going to target no housewives, not yet. And then she, for some reason, calls Donna Kelsey America's mom. Again, they're really trying to make this thing stick. Or was that a thing? I'm not that familiar with her. I only know of Travis Kelsey because of the Swifties and all that foolishness. I don't really know this lady. I don't have anything against her. I just don't like her being labeled something that she's not. So the coffins have to go somewhere. Alan is even joking. Michael seems pretty upset. Alan Cummings, he really starts to laugh when stuff like this happens because Michael is just cursing up a storm. Calm down, Michael. So Green and Red had an alliance to target the other team, but that kind of went by the wayside. So that was a little bit funny. Donna says she's not happy. She feels targeted. So what? Everybody's going to be targeted at some point. So the last team was running with the coffin, and they were like, where do we put it? So time was almost out. They had to go to the nearest grave. It was Portia's. And Michael was yelling, put it in there, put it in there. And Portia was like, I take that personally. Trying to put a coffin in my grave, I take it personally. So it was pretty funny. Everybody was trying to put something in another person's grave, but then when it was put in theirs, they're upset. So that was a little funny. So Portia was saying, that was shady, that was shady. And then they had the people stand by their graves if they had a coffin in it. So the comic had one in there. Rob R. had a coffin in his grave. Eric Nam, and also Michael. As they were running, Michael almost knocked Colton down. Colton was like, don't take me with you. So Dorinda said, here we go again. But Dorinda, of course, they're going to have to make her last a little bit longer. They decide they have to cover their own grave. That was part of the game. Michael says, this is shameful. It's a humiliation. And Portia's confronting the group. I heard that my casket was almost filled. I want to know how that happened. Candace says that she heard Michael say, put the coffin on one of the housewives' grave. She told Portia that. And Portia said, whoa, who said that? Oh, well, get up, come with me. We're going to ask who said it. So they're going in there to have dinner. And Portia and Michael go in there and they actually start talking to Candace about what she heard. And Candace says, I didn't say that. And he said that he didn't say that either. So there was some confusion, but I did hear Michael Rappaport say that. I heard him say that. Now, he claims he loved Portia so much, but I did hear him say, just put it in the housewife's grave. So then they all decide, they're all in the kitchen like a hunting party. I heard Tiffany say, do I even want to be a part of this? To Monet Exchange, and Monet's like, no. So Monet Exchange told Lisa's Renner's in the kitchen. She's eating. He was like, pay attention. It's about to get good. Because they were going to start arguing. They didn't. It got a little bit heated, but because of Portia's demeanor, it didn't really go further. But she let Michael know that she heard what he said about targeting her. So the next thing that happened, let's see. Oh, they brought Maura in. So Eric was asking, okay, well, who was in the car? Michael says, I would never say that. I'm practically a housewife. He's going to get on my nerves, pretending that he's this over-the-top Housewives fan. I think that about Jerry O'Connell. I don't believe it's true of Michael Rappaport. I think he does it for attention. I just do. So Maura was claiming, I was in the car. I don't remember the discussion. Portia said, don't be looking like that. I agree with Portia because I don't know why Maura was pretending that she didn't hear what was said. I'm sitting at home and I heard it. So that was kind of silly. So Dolores is the only other person last season to me. She got to the end being kind of clueless, but if this is more of a strategy, I don't think that that's going to work. So next, Portia says, oh, I kind of got my answer. And then she's in a confessional. She says, I'm just going to have to go ahead and trust Candace. Candace did lie. Candace said Portia misheard or misremembered, but Candace did say that Michael said it as well. She heard what Michael said, and then she reported back to Portia, as she should. The housewives kind of have a little alliance going, only because they're always targeted every season. So they start playing one of those creepy songs. And then the traitors go to the Tourette. Candace says she knows who she wants to get rid of first, but what if they aren't on the list? Again, that is the downside to having this secret traitor and this person having all that power that they get to compile this list. And then the traitors have to choose from that. I wanted Michael going first and then Donna next, but we'll see what happens. Tiffany told Donna that she hopes it's not her. And then they get the short list. The short list is Rob R., who is one of the traitors, Eric, Mark from Dancing with the Stars, and Ian from Big Brother. So Rob is kind of annoyed that someone wants him out. They try to figure out, well, why? You haven't even done anything yet. So then they said, well, maybe it's Michael. They hope the secret traitor is not Michael, but they don't know. Brenna says, oh, imagine if it's Michael. That's my fear. I kind of thought it was Michael. We don't know who the secret traitor is yet because, again, this is just episode 1. So they all tell each other that night. They'll see each other in the morning. And then Rob R. congratulates them. He says they thought they had a good first day as traitors. That was the end of that episode. They don't tell us who they took out that night out of the group. You find out at breakfast. So they have the different groups come in, small groups knocking on the door. They come in, and then we find out who doesn't come in, and then Alan comes in and takes that in a picture. So episode 2 is called The Death Conga. They wasted, again, the list with Rob R. Ian is one of the smart ones. He's a gamer. Eric, I think it would make no sense to take out. The traitors thought the same thing. But it would cause confusion. Sometimes that's good in the house. If the faithfuls are running around suspecting each other, they keep their attention off of the traitors. So Rob says the time is up. The check is cash. The person that they choose is going to play blackjack with Jesus. So Rob is kind of enjoying his role of traitor. All of them are really. At breakfast, Lisa is the first one to breakfast. She said she's nervous, but she's just going to be Lisa effing Renna. Nobody suspects her as a traitor, which I found odd. She'd be one of the main ones I would suspect. Next, we have Tiffany come in with Monet Exchange. Tiffany says that she hopes gamers don't get targeted first because the more gamers there are left, the more they can shield her. So that's true. So Tiffany is explaining what Portia thinks she heard, but it's not what she thinks she heard. She did actually hear it. So Candace has to be careful, and the other traders are saying this too. She doesn't want to be center of attention because if she does that, she'll start to get a target on her back. So at breakfast next, they have Portia come in, Kristen's coming in, Caroline's being filled in on the events of the day before. Candace is in a confessional. She's telling us that it is powerful. Also trippy, having to search for a secret traitor, and you know that you're a traitor yourself. So Candace is really enjoying herself. They get this big police knock on the door. Tiffany thinks, oh, that's Michael. It's not. It's Dorinda. Dorinda gets a standing ovation. Why? Why? She was sent home first last year, so I guess they're giving her the standing ovation for making it through episode 1. So Jam Jam says he thought it was Rob C. He says he was nervous. Rob C says he feels like Jam Jam is trying to throw him under the bus. This is unusual. Usually the survivors kind of stick together until they don't. Remember when Tony called Rob a sellout? You a sellout, bro? That was so funny to me. And Rob was like, why is Tony upset? I could see why Tony was upset because Rob threw him completely under the bus when his name started ringing bells and he was almost outed as a traitor. So then people discuss whether Rob or Eric would be next because we're still waiting for them to appear at breakfast. It turns out, y'all, Ian is gone. I liked Ian. He was there for a short amount of time. So we see Candace say that the best course of action to keep the attention off of them was to select Ian, that he was brilliant. He won Big Brother. We see Ian get his letter because after the person, they don't come into the breakfast room, Peacock or production, whomever, they show us what happens the night before in the castle. We see Ian, he goes to sit in a chair, and then they pick up this letter, and it's from the trader saying, you've been selected for Red Rum, your time is over. And so that's it. The people never see you again. He says it's the biggest backhanded compliment because he was a threat to them and that he doesn't know what he would have done different. And he couldn't have done anything different. I mean, somebody has to be the first to go. It was Ian, but I liked Ian as a player and as a person. So they raised their glass to him at breakfast. Tiffany speaks out on his behalf, who he was, and she hopes that, I don't know, she was just saying something about hopefully they're not taking this out on all of the gamers, but Tiffany, somebody's going to be targeted. Rob says that Tiffany making a speech over Ian, he can't really trust it. This was the Rob that is from Love Island. So Alan welcomes them to the buffet. He said there's been some sad news. We're out of sourdough. Oh, yeah, and Ian got killed, and he smashes Ian's picture. So they're on to the next mission. Tiffany turns to Lisa and says, someone here is a traitor. Lisa replies, more than one. Lisa Renna is a trip, y'all. She's just eating her breakfast. She's totally unbothered. The little groups gather again. They start to speculate. Portia's telling a group, I don't have a clue. She said she can't begin to know. She said right before we kill Ian, or they thought she said that, but I don't know. I'm back and forth on what Portia might have said. Ron notices. He said, it sounded like she said right before we killed Ian. So he tells other people that he suspects Portia as a traitor. And y'all, this is when Ron, the comedian, got on my nerves. I didn't know this man before seeing him as someone that's on this show. And then now I don't care for him. So he's going back to the castle. And Candace is joking about why didn't she get sent home or Red Rum. Now we know that Candace is a traitor, so she's safe. Her, Lisa Renna, and Rob, and then also the secret traitor. So they have a game where people are going to find shields, and then they get to ride in a chariot, but whomever's in the chariot, the other players have to carry them. So just for common sense, they end up putting petite people and carrying them in the chariot, and the bigger, stronger people will kind of move them along. Y'all, I lost my notes from that. So that is 2. So I'm going to have to move over here. Okay, next, after this game, of course, they get a chance to round up money through this game. And then we have, they have another round table. Natalie suspects Donna. And it was so funny. Some of them were calling them Miss Donna. Tiffany was saying, Miss Donna. I feel like you could be a traitor. Portia did the same thing, which was really funny, calling her Miss Donna. So Candace suspected Miss Donna as well. So you seem like a traitor. Ron gives his evidence against Portia. And y'all, I was surprised that he was so convincing. He convinced 8 people. So there were 8 votes for Miss Donna, 8 votes for Portia. And Rob and Eric ended up accusing Michael. They felt like he was a traitor. He got about 4 votes. So I was a little surprised Michael didn't get more votes than that. So Alan, it ends up, let's see, Lisa Rinna. This was what Lisa Rinna did that I didn't like. Lisa Rinna ends up, well, I don't know who to vote for. She targeted Portia. She voted for Portia. She was like the 8th vote. And then Colton had the tie-breaking vote. It was 8 for Portia, 8 for Miss Donna. And Colton voted for Portia. And so Portia, they call her to the circle of truth. We, of course, already know the truth. Alan says, you know, before you leave my castle forever, I want you to tell everybody what your status is. She says, I just want to fight for people. I'm the type of person, I came in, I tried to fight for the housewives, fight for the faithfuls, and I felt like I was going to be the one to lead us to getting a traitor on the first night. And I want you to know, I am a faithful. And everybody's like, oh my God, we knew it. We knew it. And Ron was like, I'm sorry. I thought it was her. I thought it was her. So Ron is so silly. I got annoyed with him. He's like, I thought we had clear and true evidence. That's why you don't go around accusing people. I couldn't stand that. So Portia stood in the circle of truth, turned around and left. I don't know what they're doing. Usually when the faithfuls start out like this, voting out faithfuls, it just gets worse. So Candy is telling Tiffany, Candace is saying, Tiffany, Portia ain't no traitor. She's so expressive, she couldn't hide anything if she were a traitor, which I believed it. I think Portia probably would have been a good choice as a traitor because I don't think anybody would have suspected her. So I'm disappointed for episode 2. And then people were leaving spoilers all over the place. But I'm kind of sorry that she got voted out that early. So Caroline and Dorinda are talking about the housewives usually stick together. Now we've had one housewife target another, and they said they did it in public. So they are looking at Rinna. So that kind of wasn't good. I don't know why she did that. She said a housewife turned against another, and she's stronger than that. I believe that too. So Donna is saying, well, it was daunting to be up there. They're all congratulating her. They go again with the America's Mom thing, which kind of got on my nerves. So she says, against all of you people, everybody here, I'm kind of fangirling out. I just haven't talked a lot, and people don't know what to make of me. And they're like, oh, no, you're doing great. Kristen calls this lady America's Mom again. I wish y'all would stop doing that. Welcome in, CC. Thank you for coming in during the live. I sent you a DM on IG. If you checked it, let me know. If not, please check it. It was something timely that I wanted to mention to you. So the traders are still talking about there is this short list that they don't have the same power that traders in past had because they have to choose off that short list. So it seems like to me the person with more power is the secret trader. So Ron keeps expressing regret. Y'all, this man is in mourning. I tried to explain my points to everybody, and I really thought that I knew what was going on, and now I sent the pretty lady home. Shut up, Ron. Ron made me sick with that. I didn't know why he felt like Portia was a safe choice for him to attack. I really didn't like that because she didn't seem any more traitor-like than anyone else. I thought that Michael seemed like a bigger traitor than her, but I think Ron was scared to target him. So next they have a game where they are going to have to get somebody in plain sight. So these challenges that Alan Cummings are doing, they're really interesting. They're going to have to commit a red rum and get somebody out of there in plain sight. So you know how everybody, there's really the kitchen, there's kind of the drawing room, they have little places that they can assemble, but there's always somebody somewhere. So they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about this. Candace decides she got to remove people from a room that everybody's kind of lingering around. So she's like, I don't know if I'm going to bust out crying. I don't know if I'm going to pass out. I don't know. I'm going to do a conga line. She starts doing a conga line. And people start following behind her. So she tells us later, being extra kind of has its benefits, which it really does, because she could have pulled out a cry angle. Nothing Candace did would have surprised people, because we expect her to be too much and extra. Okay, thank you. Thanks. So Candace is moving people from room to room. I thought it was really smart that Lisa Rinna and Rob decide that, okay, we're running out of time. They're going to sit down and pretend like they're playing chess. So they're doing this in plain sight. They already have the short list. While they're playing chess, Tara Lipinski is sitting there, the figure skater, watching them. And Rob is really funny. He's like, okay, well, what about this person? Let's say this king, this queen, if this were Tara. Now, I still don't know if Tara knew how to play chess and knew that they weren't actually playing a game, or if what they were doing. So they had Monet Exchange, Rob C, Tara, and Kristen on the short list. Candace comes back and she tries to find evidence of, because they ended up choosing somebody to send home. She wants to know like who they sent home, but because she was leading the conga line, she didn't find out who they sent home. Of course, we don't find out yet either. So the next morning, we're going to find out at breakfast, of course. Again, that was in episode 2. Not too much happened. It's really good. I haven't watched yet, but I can see Lisa Rinna and Candace not standing in Housewives Solidarity. It's their happy personality. Made it to the live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mama 59 Works. Yes, CC, you're actually right about that. What's going to happen? Episode 1, 2, and 3. There are spoilers for, I just gave a big one, episode 2. I've been trying to avoid them, but they're already out there. And Lisa Rinna she had a big role in the spoiler that just happened. It was kind of a disappointment, but I'm not shocked. Lisa Rinna is a villain. And she didn't make me, I'm not disgusted with her, but she's just a villain. And CC is speaking. Thank you. So at breakfast the next morning, we had Colton, Caroline, and Jam Jam come in. They admit that they were duped, so they're going to pay attention to the people that come in kind of hot, because they can't believe that Ron actually convinced all of them to turn around and vote the way that they voted. So Colton's saying he had told Michael it was between Portia and somebody else. So now he's suspicious of Ron because Ron was wrong. So yeah, does not like Michael's attitude. He doesn't like his conversation. He finds his conversation distracting. I feel the same way. I don't like Michael Rappaport at all. I find him loud. I feel like those American History X vibes that he gives, that was one of his roles. I know he's an actor, but what I'm getting off of him, I believe it. So next we have Dorinda. And Candace says that she was worried. Rob came to her and said, this was while she was trying to do Candace was trying to do the conga line to get everybody out of the room where they were trying to commit this red rum and get a person out of there. They were trying to do it in plain sight. Rob C went to Tiffany and he said, don't get involved in anything they got going on, because I feel like they might be trying to commit a red rum in plain sight. And Tiffany was like, what? Rob said the same thing to Candace. So when everybody comes into breakfast, they find out that Rob C is missing. So he was the one off the short list that he got evicted from the house, or he's no longer there, or he got red rum, however you want to put it. So Candace was saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. She said, he was so smart. You guys made the right choice. So that is another gamer. First they got Ian, a Big Brother winner, and then they got Rob, a runner-up on Survivor. So it's kind of a trend. Usually in the past, they had gone after the housewives. Now they, of course, Portia being a faithful, they're going down the wrong road. So Ron is kind of the odd man out now because he was the one that convinced the vote to go the way that it went. And then next they have a game where they have to get off in pairs, but of course there's an odd number. And Alan has them pair off. It turns out that Ron doesn't have anyone to pair off with. What I found interesting, Dorinda was trying to pair with a few different people, and they were like, no, why don't you go over there and just pair with Caroline? So they were trying to keep the two housewives together. They did end up pairing up together, but I found that kind of interesting. Michael and Jam Jam had an argument about whether or not a traitor can hold a shield. I don't know why Michael didn't know that. We've seen traitors get shields before. Traitors actually look for shields to keep the faithfuls from getting a shield. Even though they don't need it, they're safe. They can't be put out of the game unless they're banished by the faithfuls. So Michael was kind of threatening. He was telling Jam Jam, don't play game with me. And Yum Yum was not afraid. At breakfast, he was telling him, well, if you take it to 100, I'll take it to 100. So everybody was just looking and kind of shocked that they're doing this. So Mike starts speaking. Of course, he's cursing and doing all this kind of stuff. The camera pans to Caroline Stanberry, who's looking kind of concerned. And also Kristen, the chef, was looking kind of disgusted. So Michael was getting a confessional saying, yeah, I'm from New York. And from New York, you got to either play basketball real good, or you got to be able to rap, or you got to be able to use your words to kind of, put people in their place. Michael, I can't stand him. He really makes me sick. So then the people, they're just talking and saying it's a lovely breakfast. Michael's drinking his water with two hands. He is I can't stand him. And then he's swishing it around like he was going to brush his teeth with it. I can't stand when people do that. Brittany from Salt Lake City does that too. I find that really weird. I feel like he is a pig. Tiffany Mitchell from Big Brother, from the cookout season, she's kind of aligned with Michael. And the rationale that she's giving, she's saying that she feels like he's a traitor, and she wants a traitor to want to protect her, and that is why she's aligning with Michael. Y'all, I cannot stand them. I've liked Chef Kristen and since Top Chef, and I've never liked Michael R. Yeah, I've liked her since Top Chef too. I don't like Michael Rappaport at all. I find him very rude. I have to find that clip where she humiliated him on Watch What Happens Live, because he was doing that big mouth talking over people thing, and Andy Cohen was laughing at the top of his lungs. I found that so funny. So Alan comes in and says, ashes to ashes and dust to dust, poor little survivor is no more. And then he smashes Rob C's picture. So he always makes a joke when the person is not coming back. So Lisa's saying, oh my God, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I hope people don't realize that Lisa Rinna is really relishing her role, because when something happens or they're supposed to be mourning the person that doesn't come back, she's always eating or drinking. The other night she was like, is this Diet Coke or regular, when someone had just gotten red rum? So Lisa Rinna is a trip. So Tiffany notices, she said, there is a rift between Yam Yam and Michael, and I have to kind of see where that goes, because one of her natural alliances would be with a gamer, but she has aligned with Michael, thinking that he might be a traitor and he can protect her. So next we have Candace. Candace is saying that Lisa, and Alabama Rob are such a unit that she kind of doesn't care if they know who the secret traitor is. And then she says it could be Donna. So this is the second time. Remember, she got 8 votes right next to Portia. So a lot of the people suspect her already. And she's still playing this little old lady card that she is so, enamored with all the people. She doesn't really know how to handle being there. It is so funny when Alan C throws the pictures on the floor. It is so disrespectful. It is, because it is a game, but they're talking about it as if it were a real live killing. But for him to throw the picture down like that, that does make me laugh when he does that. And he's usually wearing something elaborate. I think he was all in gold at this point, and his little hair was poofed up. He is a mess. when they did the coffin challenge, he came dressed as a coffin, which was kind of ridiculous, but still funny. So Michael now feels that Yam Yam is a traitor. He's mad because Yam Yam doesn't like him. Yam Yam feels like Michael is a traitor, and Yam Yam didn't back down from Michael. So now they've got this feud going on. They're going to have another round table. This twist was Alan says, before we go out on another challenge, we're going to do a round table first. So this is a new twist. They're like, oh my goodness, we just got through with breakfast and we're going into another round table. Nobody's ready. I was kind of excited for it because I love the round tables. And usually we have to wait till the end of the episode, but we go in there now. So look, Maura's just looking around with her eyes bugged out. I don't know if she's going to bring a lot other than being pretty. She's the Love Island lady. Tiffany is looking around. Tiffany's trying to lay low, but people know that Tiffany is a threat because she's one of the ones that organized that whole cookout thing. And Tara's just looking. Colton's looking. They don't really know what they're going to do, but they're going into this round table. So Michael starts going against Yam Yam. Yam Yam's going against Michael. They both think the other is traitor. Half the table or more thinks that Donna or Miss Donna is a traitor. So as they start to vote, they kind of go back a little bit. Donna defends herself a little bit. I didn't think she did a great job. She was playing the little old lady card. I'm not really talking because I'm enamored with everybody. I'm kind of fanning out, this and that. And so as they start to get the votes together, I found Natalie really funny. Natalie from Survivor is straight to the point. Miss Donna, I think you're a traitor. You're a perfectly sweet woman, but I think you're a traitor. Candace tells her the same thing. So by the time they start voting, Colton voted for Donna, Eric, Monet X, Candace, Johnny, Kristen, Tiffany, Yam Yam. It was unanimous, except she, of course, voted for Michael. She don't like Michael. I don't like Michael. I don't think anybody likes Michael. Tiffany's using Michael, so that's why she is running around with him. So she got the most votes. Alan says, before you leave, Miss Donna, come to the Circle of Truth. They bring Miss Donna over to the Circle of Truth. And Maura whispers, she better be a traitor. Because remember, they've sent faithfuls home already. Ian, Rob C., and Portia. So the group has their hands claps together. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And he said, Miss Donna, please reveal to us, are you faithful or are you a traitor? She says, I know I'm like a sacrificial lamb. I had a blast meeting all of you. You got yourself a traitor. They start screaming, yelling, jumping up, clapping. Now, remember, they wanted to get a traitor out the first night. They didn't. They have 3 faithfuls down to 1 traitor, and they still got 3 traitors left. So then we find out that she was playing the sweet mom on the side, and they show us when she first got there and when she got the card from Alan, she got her instructions, and she did a good job as far as setting them up with the short list of the people that were going to vote out. Because remember, they got Ian out, who was a gamer. They got Rob C. out, who was a gamer. They threw Portia under the bus themselves, but they did a good job. Cynthia Christian, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in during the Traitors Live. I appreciate you. So they say that America's mother thing again. Please stop doing that, Eric. She may be your mama. She's not America's mama. She's Travis and Jason's mama. So we get Alan. He says, pick someone you trust with your life. This is going to be another game. They have to pair off in teams of 2. Everybody gets paired up except, I'm sorry, y'all. I think this was backwards. I had put this up there before, but with that game, everybody was paired up except for Ron, because everybody's mad at Ron because Ron was responsible for Portia going home. And we did not want that. This, to me, this is worse than when they sent Dorinda home #1, because we thought we were going to have a whole season of Portia. And I know she brought all her little outfits too. So what they were doing is, with this game, the pair of 2, they were going out to a field. They were being put inside of a cage. One person would get in the cage. The other person would have to do everything they can to get them out of the cage. Now, the downside, if you were the one in the cage, your person has 10 minutes to find 10 skulls and stack them up. And then that would automatically open the door and let you out. So what happened is, the way they were paired off, 2 of the traitors ended up in a cage but they were safe. It didn't matter, which was Candace and Lisa. And then Johnny was paired with Eric. Poor Eric. I didn't really think it was smart for Eric to get in the cage, but he did. Johnny could not, for the life of him, he never found all of his skulls, first of all. Colton was trying to bust Caroline Stanberry out of her cage. Colton found all his skulls, but he's like, I have shaky hands. He could not stack the 10 skulls up. So by the time the 10 minutes passed, he wasn't able to break out his partner. Candace's partner was able to break her out, which again, it really didn't matter. She said that she picked Tara because Tara is her bestie. That is not your bestie, Candace. You do not know this lady. She said, and because she needs her wand curler, Candace broke her own wand curler, and if Tara leaves, she won't have one. So she's going to protect her to the end because of that, which is funny. If she gets voted out, she'll leave that wand curler. So Marta tells Rob, anything that they do that's physical, he's going to do the physical part. And if she got to walk on anything crazy, he needs to carry her. So he agreed. Then they were a group. She gets in the cage, of course, and Rob is pretty athletic. He got her out. So this is Alabama Rob, or Rob F. And of course, Rob C is gone. So now we can just call him Rob. Tiffany is again giving us her theory that Michael is a traitor. Oh, y'all, I've been talking over an hour. I'm sorry. This is 3 episodes. Cynthia Christian said, why did they have to send my girl Portia home? Hello, I almost wish she had been a traitor, but again, they already had 2 housewife traitors. I think they did that so they wouldn't go home so early, but most of the people that are kind of casual watchers, I think, were tuning in for Portia. I don't even care for Portia that much, but I did love seeing her in this light and kind of just seeing her get to know people and around the castle. And she's always going to be funny. She's always going to be cute. She's always going to be well dressed. So she was just a bit of comic relief. I don't like what Lisa Rinna did. I don't like the fact that she used her vote to kind of, she said, well, if I vote for her, then people won't suspect me of being a traitor. I just, villain type stuff. But Cece, and Cynthia, we know how Rinna is. Rinna's not to be trusted. So Ron is, the people that were not let out of the cages, they are up to be red rum sent away that night. Ron's automatically up because nobody would partner with him after what he did to Portia. And then the rest of the ones, Lisa is not up because she's a traitor, but the other people don't know that. She said she's going to use her acting skills and cry and pretend she's upset. Caroline really is upset. She said, I didn't know Colton would crack under pressure like that, because Colton, again, he was in the NFL for over a decade, but he couldn't do anything with stacking up those shells. So that was a mess. And then Alan tells them the other rules. He's talking about they got to stay out there in the jungle all night until the traitor is going to red rum them in person. So they put a blindfold over the people. And it was scary. They had the blindfold over poor little Eric's eyes. They decide who they're going to meet at the turret, decide who they're going to get rid of. The people are blindfolded. When they came out there to Eric, Eric was like, I've got a lot of assets you could use. Please don't send me out of here tonight. But if you do, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your lives. So I don't know. Eric was not scared. Who else was out there? Caroline was saying she's not ready to go home. Of course, Lisa, they let go because she was not up to be killed because she is a traitor. And Ron tried to be big and bad. Ron said, if they come for him, they better kill him. So, y'all, that was a mess. And that is the end of episode 3. So they're going to reveal to us at breakfast, as they always do. You hope Lisa goes home. I didn't like what she did. It's harder for the traitors to get out of there unless they start targeting each other. If you watch last season, Danielle and Caroline with all those ticks and moves, she ended up, they kind of didn't trust each other, and then that was a mess. So they almost were targeting each other. That could happen here, but what I don't like about it, I feel like Lisa Rinna and Rob are closer to each other than they are to Candace right now. So I don't know if the traitors target anyone. Of course, Miss Donna is already gone. She was a secret traitor. If they target anyone amongst each other, it more than likely will be Candace first. But Candace can really defend herself. After one of the round tables, she spoke up a little bit for Portia. Natalie came in. She said, "I really like what you said at the round table." And even Michael was like, "Yeah, you really can talk. You were doing this, you were doing that." I think Michael just has a crush on all the housewives, even Kenya Moore. When he insulted Kenya and Kenya backed him up and humiliated him while laughing, Michael was stuttering and he was still like stars in his eyes. So this is going to be a really good season. I like the way they did the rollout, with the exception of I think 3 episodes at once was a lot. So I'll show you the schedule. You still on vacation? No, I'm actually back home. I'm in my room. You see my poster? I'm back home. So I'm back at work. I actually went back to work yesterday morning and then this morning. So I have a different schedule. But I had a great cruise. I should do a separate video of the cruise. I was on the cruise with Queen Sheba. It was amazing. It was very intimate. It was, I would say, without giving complete numbers, just because I don't know that she ever gave complete numbers, it was a very, I'll say less than 20 people. So there were people that I hadn't met anyone in person before. I had talked to everybody either online or some other capacity. I had met a few at Winter Wonderland, but I didn't know anyone. I was able to get a lot closer to people that I was happy to meet. I'll just say that. Thank you. Oh, okay, Cece. Yeah, I'm telling you, these spoilers were killing me, Cece. I said, let me finish watching these 3 episodes and then just get out there and give it. But excuse me, I'll show you what Peacock did. I should post that. Let me see. So they did the 3 episodes at once. So that was January 8th. They do 3 episodes. Then they're going to give us 4 and 5 by the 15th. So it'll be real easy for you to catch up after that. After that, they're going to do 1 a week. So the week of the 22nd, 29th, 5th, 12th, and 19th, they'll have 1 episode a week. So they drop 3 on us, then they'll drop 2, and then 1 a week. Please do a short video on the crew. Okay, I will, definitely. Yes, 2. That's who I'm talking about. That is who I'm talking about. She is someone I was able to sit with, talk to. I always liked her from the just the chats, her being a mod over there on Queen Sheba's. And she's very supportive of a lot of channels that you'll see. And that is what I know of too. But then meeting her in person, seeing the voice, putting the voice with the face, that was the first thing I said. I said, oh, wow, just to see your voice with your face, I just love it. Same thing with Queen Sheba. Queen Sheba is the same person online as you see on her channel. So it was amazing. It was really, it was great. I was happy to go. And that was it, y'all. Episode 1, 2, and 3. And then we can catch up with 4 and 5. So by the 15th, they will have 4 and 5 CC. And then they'll do 1 a week. So we'll come back. Yes, Cynthia Christian. There was a, I think it's the 14th. I signed up for it already. Sent some information to CC. So I'm going to check my IG right now, CC, to see if you answered me. So you did answer me. So thank you for that. So there's a class that she's doing on goal setting for 2026 at a very reasonable price, depending on the tier of membership you already have. But thank you all for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra for my Traitors Live. Let me see if I can quickly put my hands on one of the pictures that I had. Let's see. Because she is gone, so I might as well. I had one of Kristen. Did I tell you my pick? My pick is Tiffany Mitchell because she did that great Big Brother season. Let me take myself down. Okay, I'm going to show Portia, and then I'm going to show Kristen, and then that will be, thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Please like the video. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe, and I appreciate you all so much. I'll see you in the YouTube streets. So that is